is IET Professional Registration and Membership webinar hosted by UK-HyRES. I'm Sibimol, UK-HyRES ECR Chair, and I'll be guiding us through this session. Thank you for joining us. This session is especially designed for early career researchers, and we'll be looking at how IET membership can unlock new opportunities, strengthen our professional profile, and give us access to tools, networks, and resources that can accelerate our development. So we have an hour here. So over the next hour, we'll be able to hear about it from Florin. And we are very delighted to have you with us. So let's get started. We'll have time for Q&A after Florin's presentation. You can also type your questions in the chat. It would be helpful if your mic is on mute. And after Florin's presentation, we'll be having time for Q&A. So over to you, Florin.
Yes, hello. I see that people are still coming in. First of all, thank you so much for inviting us to speak with you. Indeed, my name is Florin. I'm the head of commercial partnerships here at the IET. And I'm actually delighted to be here today to actually talk to you about our professional registration and membership. The way I've structured today's presentation, if you will, is quite simple. So I think I want to take about 25 minutes tops to take you through some of the highlights of what is the IET, what is professional registration, what is professional membership. And as Sibimo has said, we're going to give you a look into how you can use all of that in order to both advance your professional career, but at the same time to support in whatever research projects you may be working on right now. So after those 20 to 25 minutes, I just want to open it up to any questions you may have. I can stay on for another 40 minutes after I finish my presentation. So hopefully we can have a conversation about some of the things I've said, but also we can also discuss things that I haven't touched on and you might want to know more about it. So as Sibimo has said, I would appreciate if you could mute yourselves. It would be easier for me to go through this because, as you probably know, sometimes it's distracting to hear all of those noise around. So let's get started. And I think what I'd like to start off with is to give you a sense of what the IET is. And probably you've heard of the IET as a professional association or a membership organization at best, but there are a couple of other things I wanted to tell you about the IET. So first of all, we've been established in 1871 by a royal charter. Well, established in 1871, and we got a royal charter a little bit later. The only reason why I start with this one is not necessarily to brag, but actually to give you a sense that the role of the IET as a membership organization is that to be the steward of the engineering profession here in the UK, and we also have a worldwide remit. I'll come back to that in a second when I'll give you a little bit more sense, when I'll tell you a little bit more about what exactly do we do and how we do that. Now, based on that royal charter and based on what we are doing at this moment in time, I think it's important for you to understand that first and foremost, in addition to being a membership organization, we do what's known as course accreditation. And course accreditation in the UK means that pretty much every single engineering or engineering related course, both for postgraduates but also undergraduates at UK universities, is accredited by the IET. I said pretty much every single course simply because last time we checked, 97% of all engineering related courses in the UK were accredited by by the IET. At the same time, we also are a publisher. We do publish academic journals, research journals, and we develop specialized content for engineering. Some of you may know that one of our flagship databases is called InSpec, and on the back of InSpec, which contains a lot of abstract and indexing content and also full text focused on engineering, we also have another tool called InSpec Analytics, which is generally used by both corporates and academic researchers in their day-to-day work. I did mention the journals we publish. We do have a portfolio of about 150 journals. All of them are open access publications, and the vast majority of these journals are available to you as researchers through national deals here in the UK, but also through individual deals that your academic institution might have in place with the IET. Obviously, I did talk very briefly about professional membership, and I will be touching a little bit more on that one. But the other element of what the IET does, which is slightly different than the professional membership and the course accreditation, is that we, together with the British Standards Institute, and the Engineering Council, under the guidance, if you will, of the UK government, we do publish the codes and guidances for electrical and wiring regulations here in the UK. So whether we are talking about domestic wiring or commercial or even industrial electrical wiring regulation, the IET is the one that are publishing these codes and guidances. Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this to your attention is very simple. I want to remind you that we are not just a professional membership organization. Because of the Royal Charter we have, we're quite unique in that sense, and our focus is not commercial. We're actually a charity at the end of the day. And our main purpose for being is to, as we like to say, engineering a better world. And by that, I really mean supporting engineers and engineering related research throughout the entire research life cycle, if you will. Now, also, when it comes to the IET, I think it's relevant for this conversation for you to know that we are the only multidisciplinary engineering membership organization. Now, that in itself may not mean a lot to you right now, but as you probably know, or may not know, there are other professional and membership organizations out there, and they tend to focus on one particular subject area or field of expertise. And by all means, we don't have anything against them. I think it's great to have institutions that are focused on that. But because of that Royal Charter and the broad remit of what the IET does, we are, if you will, the home of engineers in all in different areas. So we are not just talking about electrical engineers, we're talking about nuclear engineers, we're talking about engineers who work in manufacturing, aeronautics, and so on. So that's why we say that we're a multidisciplinary organization. And that's also important for you to keep in mind when we'll talk a little bit later about the professional membership and the professional registration, because any engineer can become a member of the IET. At the same time, we do operate in about 150 countries. We have close to 156,000 members worldwide, obviously the vast majority of them being in the UK. And it is also worth to say that we have a large force, if you will, of volunteers, many of them members of the IET or professional registered engineers with the IET who are helping upcoming members or existing members, or who collaborate very closely with academia and also with the corporate world, if you will. And since we are on the subject of corporates, I should also say that one of the things that the IET does is that we don't just work with academic institutions. We don't just focus on academic research, academic or course accreditation. We do work with corporates as well. If you go on our website, you'll find that about 220 large corporates are are corporate members or have a specific partnership with the IET, and these are just some of the organizations that we're collaborating with. The reason why these organizations they work with the IET, well, there are several reasons. So first of all, they do ensure that the IET is supporting their existing engineering workforce, whether through professional registration or through continuous professional development. But at the same time, these corporates are taking the research that happens in any engineering related field very seriously, and they are using the IET to both understand what is the what research is happening in subject areas that's of interest for them, and obviously through that they are very keen to learn more about the upcoming generation, if you will, of young engineers or young researchers. And they're also using the IET as a way to recruit new candidates, to find projects that they can invest in or projects that they can fund, depending on their commercial interests, of course. So when you think about the IET, please do take into account that yes, we're a membership organization, but at the same time, as I said a couple of times already, we also work with academia, but we also work with corporates, and our job is actually to be the bridge, if you will, between these two worlds. Now, very briefly, coming on to the topic of today's meeting, I know that many of you, based on what I've heard so far, are affiliated with one university or another, and it's very, very likely that your university already has an existing partnership with the IET, which will practically allow you to sign up as an academic partner of the IET, as a student member of the IET. I'm sorry. The reason why your university um, has become an academic partner of the IET is quite simple, I should say. They do recognize the value of having courses accredited, and they do recognize the importance of your affiliations as students, whether you are undergraduates or postgraduates or going through your PhDs. They do recognize the importance of your affiliation to a professional body, both for your further career development, but also to open up, if you will, the research world even further to you. It's also worth bearing in mind that if your university is an academic partner of the IET, your university is already paying your student membership fee. So it might be worth checking with them or even checking with us whether you can sign up to become a student member. That is, if you are not one already. And I'll talk a little about this a little bit more, but generally speaking, by becoming a student member of the IET, you are able to access a lot of resources that you can use in your day-to-day life as a postgraduate or as a research fellow or whatever whatever your designation is at this moment in time. And obviously, by becoming a student member, that is just the first step in your professional development process, and you can definitely aspire to become a professional registered engineer when the time comes. Now, on the subject of what you get as a member of the IET, and bear in mind that at this moment in time, we're talking about student membership. Generally speaking, there are three things that I believe are of importance. So first of all, being a member allows you to build your professional network. And by that, I mean that you will have the opportunity to join technical networks and also local networks. The difference is quite significant. Usually local networks, they are networking events, for lack of a better word. And these events, they take place pretty much all over the UK. There are certain hubs in the world where events like this take place, but these are opportunities for you to connect with like-minded people, like-minded engineers or scientists, and develop your personal and professional network. The technical networks, they are slightly different. They are still good networking opportunities, if you will, but generally speaking, these are more focused on specific subject areas or specific topics. This is where the IET and the people who are leading the technical networks, they collaborate with senior engineers, they collaborate with corporates to actually develop topics and discuss about topics of interest for the wider engineering community or for scientists. So becoming a member of the IET, even when you are a student member of the IET, gives you access to these type of this type of events. And obviously, if you're thinking of finding your next career opportunity, we do have a jobs board that we put up in collaboration with our academic, government, and corporate partners, where you can see new jobs that are coming up quite often. Then again, as a member of the IET, you will get the opportunity to showcase your research. So obviously, if you are involved in any research projects, you will be able to present your work at IET conferences. You'd be able to publish in our respected open access journals. And ultimately, in addition in addition to actually helping you put your research work out there, also gives you the opportunity to gain visibility with the R&D departments of top companies, in particular companies that already work with the IET. And also, don't forget that starting as a student member of the IET is actually the first step. And we hope that once you complete your degree, whichever that may be, or once you complete your research project, you may be considering a professional registration route, which we tend to believe that is the gold standard in engineering at this moment in time. Also, in addition to those things I've just mentioned, I think it's worth pointing out that as a student member of the IET, and generally as a member of the IET, you do get access to a lot of additional resources. So, for example, you could get access to the IET's digital library and IET's archives. I know you guys are flooded with academic journals and you know where to find them, but the IET Digital Library is there to help you while you are a student and while you are affiliated with a university, but it's also there for you to help you once you've completed your studies. And for those of you who are in this situation, you probably know that the minute you leave the university or the minute you stop being affiliated with a university, you lose access to a lot of great electronic resources, whether those be journals, research papers, or conference proceedings. You no longer get those if you are no longer a student or affiliated with a university. But by staying a member of the IET, you do continue to get access to that content. And because the IET's content is solely focused on engineering and engineering fields, and engineering associated fields like physics, chemistry, and so on, you will still be able to get access to those resources that will have a meaningful impact on your work. Equally, we do have a large if you will, database of curated engineering videos. We call it the IET TV because, and I hope you'll agree with me, no matter how great research papers are, sometimes seeing it all in a video format seems to be a lot easier. So IET TV is available there for you as members of the IET, as well as the technical webinars. I think one of the important aspects I would mention here is that unlike other organizations, we do not produce that content ourselves. As in, I mean, let me rephrase that. We do produce it in the sense of the video editing and all that, but the actual content, the topics, the speakers, how a topic is presented is actually determined and chosen by engineers and members of the IET. And we like to keep it like that because we believe that in doing it so, it remains relevant to whatever it is that engineers are interested in. Also, as members of the IET, you will get access to kind of an impressive number, I should say, of scholarship and awards. And I know that scholarship and awards tend to be meager sometimes, but here at the IET, simply because we're a charity and we're a not-for-profit organization, we tend to to run a lot of scholarships programs and a lot of awards, and some of them are listed here on the screen. So again, being a member of the IET allows you to access some of our scholarships and awards. And also, please bear in mind that because of the collaboration, the very close collaboration we have with corporate institutions, um, oftentimes there will be scholarships available in addition to what the ID is putting up, simply because a lot of the corporates are sponsoring those scholarships, if you will. Last but not the least, and I can talk about this at length maybe during our Q&A, we do provide something that we call an employability toolkit. Now, for those of you who are preparing or who have started interviewing for various jobs, you do know probably that that is quite challenging. Not just finding the right job, but actually writing the right CV and being ready and getting yourself ready for that interview. What we do at the IET, first of all, we do provide you with a lot of training on how to do all of that, hands-on training. At the same time, we help you with CV optimization. We help you with interview preparation. We help you with career advice. And a lot of that is being done by one of the 5,000 volunteers that I've mentioned a little bit earlier. And again, I think this is one of the most coveted benefit of being a member of the IET, especially if you're a postgraduate student and you're looking to get a job, being coached, if you will, by an engineer, by somebody who has went through what you are going through right now. If you're looking for a job, I think that is a great benefit and can be of great help. Now, I'm not going to go through this into greater detail, but I just wanted to put this one up just to give you a sense of some of the themes that we're approaching in our technical webinars. Again, these may not be relevant for you, the people who are on the call right now, and I apologize for that in advance. I don't know exactly each of your background, but I can assure you that there are at least 400 different topics related to engineering, physics, and chemistry, and other similar subject areas, if you will, that are available through our technical webinars. But I just wanted to put it up there so you can understand what is available to you. Also, similarly, I'm not going to go through this, but the IET library and archive is again available to you. We do have millions of records and millions of articles, some of them being the most recent articles on different subject areas, some of them going a long way back, especially if you are keen on exploring our archives. But it is very important to understand that you will have access to these both online and in person. If you are in London, for example, you can go to our Savoy Place building, or to the other building that we have in Birmingham, where usually only members of the IET have access to. And that is both a working place for you, but also gives you immediate access to those electronic and print resources, should you choose to be interested in some of those. Again, IET TV is something that I've mentioned very briefly, but I just want to re-emphasize that this is technical content, if you will. And it's at the same time the largest collection of engineering and technology video resources. And we do have content from leading engineers and technologists, both in academia and industry. Needless to say, these are video, they're available 24/7, they're available on demand, so they can become an invaluable resource for you, whether you're a researcher or just a professor, or just a student. And lastly, I just want to come back to this very quickly, because I know I did mention in passing the support we give you to help you with your to help you if you are going through a job search. But at the same time, we do provide a ton of other courses that, again, have been developed in collaboration with our members, that we believe will give you additional skills that you may need in your professional and academic life, no matter what you choose to do. So some of these life skill webinars, some of the the life skills we're going after are listed here on the screen. But again, these are just a handful of the webinars and courses that we're able to offer you once you are a member of the IET. Now, I want to talk now about professional registration. So everything I said so far excuse me, was about membership. And to become a member of the IET, as I've pointed out, you should check with your university if they are already a member of the IET. And if you are if they are an academic partner, I'm sorry, of the IET, then most likely you can sign up to become a member of the IET. That is a student member, but it's worth bearing in mind that your membership is actually paid by your institution. And also, I'm not going to go through this again, but as a member of the IET, you get access to those resources and those venues and those and that additional content that I've mentioned a few seconds ago. Professional registration is, if you will, the next step. Professional registration is actually designed for people who have graduated from university, whether it's a simple degree or a master's degree or a PhD degree. Professional registration is designed for people who are in work at the moment, who have a job, or who have some significant experience in a field of engineering. Now, generally speaking, when you are professional registered, I do believe that you take a key step in your career, because essentially this allows you to stand out from the crowd. And I believe you'll agree with me that sometimes when you look at some people's signatures or LinkedIn profile and you see those 3 or 4 letters after their name, such as CEng or iEng or EngTech, that gives you pause and makes you wonder that those people, they've invested significant time in their careers. So becoming professional registered allows you to stand out from the crowd. I think it's no secret that it does improve your career and salary prospects, and I'm more than happy to talk about this based on my experience in also working with corporates. And at the same time, it does give you the opportunity to connect with influential people across the industry. I know that this may be a little bit debatable, this last point I made, but the reality is that being professional registered, okay, on one hand means that you are part of a professional association, but at the same time, it does allow you to speak with people from a different position than if you wouldn't be professionally registered. Again, as I said, it's highly debatable, but it does help and it does open certain doors. But that is not the main reason why you should become professionally registered. I think that the main reason why you should become professionally registered is simply because you care about your professional development. You care showing the projects and the work you've done in any field connected to engineering. And yes, ultimately you want to do it because it will improve your career, both academic and corporate career, I should say, and salary prospects. Now, at the IET, we do have 4 different levels of certification. One is the chartered engineer, which I believe is the one that's most popular these days. We do have another one which is called incorporated engineer. I'm sorry, and also engineering technician and ICT technician. Each of these are different, and which one you choose really depends on where you are in your career at this moment in time. But if you're wondering what does it take to become a registered engineer and become a chartered engineer, well, I can tell you right now that obviously it does require you to have finished university or have a certain a minimum level 3 qualification. And as I said a little bit earlier, it's also about you having had some work experience. It is a very challenging process to becoming a chartered engineer or a register or to become a registered professional, if you will. And the reason for that is because we take our time to check your work experience, to check your recommendations, and so on. At the same time, even if we are very rigorous about this process, it is worth saying that we do provide you with support at every step of the way. Not only that you will always have a clear and structured pathway to registration, but we do provide you with mentoring and support from other CEng professionals. And this goes back to one of the earlier points I've made about the volunteers we have. You are not alone. When you become a member of the IET, technically you are not alone, and we really pride ourselves in having this wide network of volunteers who have been, again, I said this before, who have been where you are at the moment and who are willing to help you not just navigate the world of corporate and research after you finish your studies, but also to provide you the mentoring and the support you need throughout your process of applying and becoming a chartered engineer professional. Also, we do provide you with a dedicated online tool that allows you to register to actually plan, record, and manage your CPD from day one. And whether you do it, whether you use the tool, which is called Career Manager, by the way, either you use that tool to support your certification process, or you use it just to record everything you've done in the hope that one day you will be ready to apply for becoming a certified a chartered engineer. It doesn't really matter. The tool is there for you for whatever purpose you want to use it. And also bear in mind that the support of our volunteers, but also the support of our internal dedicated teams are there to actually guide you through that through that entire process. I don't want to go too deep into this unless you're asking me specific questions about it, but I just wanted to give you a sense of what is required in terms of qualifications and the minimum diplomas you need in order to even start considering some of the um, professional registration options we have for you. And again, I'm not going to go into this one because I realize there are so many different people on the call and your backgrounds are different and your aspirations are different. But I think suffice to say that no matter which route you're going to take, whether you're going to stay in academia and teach, whether you're continuing on your research path or you're going into the corporate world, there will always be a way for you to apply for getting professional registered. And finally, just to bring it all into perspective, I want to go back to what I said a little bit earlier that um, through that Royal Charter that we have, we are actually the stewards of the engineering profession here in the UK, and we take that role seriously. So not only that we provide you with a lot of relevant resources that you could use in your day-to-day life, either as a researcher, a student, or a engineer working for a corporate, but we are also here to help you throughout your entire career. And whether it is through continuous professional development plans, courses, technical webinars, we are here for you. At the same time, we do collaborate with the Engineering Council and with the British Standards Institute in so many ways that pretty much everything we put out there, whether it's a video on IET TV or a webinar or some of the electronic resources or the journals or the articles we publish, they will continue to stay relevant for you throughout your entire career. At the same time, if you are in employment, there is a good chance that the company you already work for or the company you're considering working for, they are a corporate partner of the IET. So not only that, they will be using IET to help you with your with your CPD, professional development. They will provide you the same courses that are available to all members. They may also be able to create customized courses based on their interest in collaboration with the IET and in collaboration with the vast network of IET members. Also, bear in mind that a lot of when you are employed, you still get support from other IET members should you choose to ask for help. I mean, just to give you a very quick example here, there will be moments when, as a young engineer or as a young employee, you may not really know how to navigate the complex world of corporate research. So sometimes reaching out to people in other organizations who have gone through something similar may be very relevant for you. And last but not the least, of course, when you decide to become a registered professional or to go through our professional registration process, there are dedicated teams here at the IET that can help you. We have our professional registration advisors who are both volunteers and also members of the IET, and we do provide you with access to a lot of mentors who can generally guide you through your career, but also through the professional registration process. And again, to wrap it up, I just want to remind you all that there's a good chance that your university is already an academic partner with the IET. So most likely you can become an IET student member if you are not already one. We can check that for you, or you can check directly with your institution. Now, I do hope that that was helpful. I have to confess, it's very difficult for me to do this without seeing you. So I don't know if I hit the right notes or if I was going in the right direction. But let's take some time, if you will, to go through any questions you may have for me or for the team on this call. Thank you.
Thank you, Florin, for that insightful presentation. We are now going to open the floor for questions. Please feel free to drop your questions into the chat, or you can use the raise hand function if you prefer to speak. So we will address as many as we can during the remaining time. I can see questions here in the chat. Florin, normally, how many years CPD will be required to check for CNG application? I was in Hong Kong for many years. Now I am in UK. Need I ask someone in Hong Kong to recommend me for their application, or someone in UK to recommend? Would the application process be online?
I can't really answer the question of how many years of CPD will be required, because depending on what you're applying for, and I'm sorry, you're actually mentioning CEng, okay. I still don't know the exact answer to that question, as in how many years of CPD will be required. That is a question for our team of advisors, and they will be the one who will be able to advise you based on whatever records you send to us. But I can definitely say that the application process starts online, and you do have the option to speak with somebody in person, whether it's over a web call or meeting with any of our advisors in person. That is possible. So my recommendation is actually to get the process started online, and then again our advisors most likely will get in touch with you, and they will advise you on whether you need on how many years of CPD do you need, whether you need a recommendation from Hong Kong, and so on. So that is a specific question for our advisors team.
Yeah. Any other questions? You can raise your hand if you have a question. Oh, okay. Is a technical report strongly recommended for CEng applicants that have a lot of industry experience but only a bachelor's degree?
I wouldn't say a technical report is strongly recommended, but in particular for people who have a bachelor's degree, we are generally looking, and it's not we, the guidelines require us to look at the professional experience. Now, one way to look at CEng and to understand what is required in terms of professional experience is quite simple, but still complex at the same time. So um, people who apply for CEng, we will be looking at their professional experience, and we'll try to see what contribution did they have to innovate in certain engineering areas. So this is more about innovating, inventing, creating something new, not just in terms of concepts, but also a process that may have been put in around a certain innovation, how that innovation has been deployed. So we're looking at innovation, we're looking at leadership, we're looking at collaboration. So coming back to your question, do you need a do we need a technical report? We do need a technical report just to understand the nature of the projects you've been involved in. And is it strongly recommended to have such technical report? It is not strongly recommended, it's actually required. So we do need to have some more details about the projects you've worked on. And the way we evaluate that is pretty simple. So first of all, we'll ask you to write a description of the project. We'll ask you to give us one or two people who can talk about your contribution to that project, and we'll take it from there. If you can provide a detailed technical report already signed by a couple of people who can recommend you, that's even better. But the process is still the same. We still need to check it, and we'll still be looking for the things I've mentioned: innovation, leadership, collaboration, and so on. And the only thing I want to say here, Alex, is that the bachelor's degree uh, um, is less important in your case. What really matters and what really paves the way to CEng is that professional experience and expertise. And obviously, we will be looking at your bachelor's degree. It doesn't really matter if that bachelor's degree is from a university a university course accredited by the IET or not. It is important, though, that it checks some of the minimum requirements from the UK Engineering Council.
Yeah, thanks, Florian. Another question is it compulsory to have a master's degree to have a CEng in IET?
Not at all. No, it's not compulsory. But if you, just like I said to Alex, if you only have a bachelor's degree, that is absolutely fine. However, you do need to show us that you have the commercial background or the technical background, or that you've been involved in projects that meet the minimum requirements. As I said, generally speaking, we're talking about innovation, leadership, collaboration, and applicability of those solutions in the world. So no, it is not necessary to have a master's degree. It does help sometimes, but again, with CEng, we're mostly looking not at your academic background, we're looking at the projects you've been part of, and what sort of role did you play in those projects.
Yeah, another question here in the chat is I am MIT UK, more than 10 years of professional experience in India. How should I get the recommendations from India for me to apply for CEng new to the UK? I have started recording CPD recently, but most of my experience is from India.
Um, I think it's absolutely fine. So, first of all, congratulations for being a member of a professional association. I think it's relevant. It doesn't really matter if you've worked in India or elsewhere in the world. The standards are exactly the same. So we'll be looking at your professional background. We'll be looking at the nature of the projects that you've been involved in. We'll be looking at what sort of CPD programs you've been part of. We'll be looking at who are the providers of those CPD programs. So we do apply the same rigorous scrutiny to anyone, whether you come from India, Romania, UK, it doesn't really matter. So the standards are there for all of us.
Yeah, thanks, Florian. Another question is if someone applies for CEng but doesn't quite pass the interview, may the panel recommend the registrant for IEng if not already held?
I don't think you'll get that far though. So we will tell you whether you qualify for CEng or something else before you get to an interview. And that's why those career advisors at the IET are very important. And that's why you should start the application process online and speak with one of our advisors. As part of that conversation, Alex, they will tell you whether you meet the minimum requires for CEng, and some of them will be I won't say brutally honest, but they will be very, very clear about what's possible and what's not possible. So again, I do strongly advise that you start the application process online, that you ask for a meeting with one of our advisors, and they will give you all the guidance you need to start the process. And they will tell you what you can apply for and what you can expect to get and when.
Another question we have here is, I'm a senior postdoctoral research fellow at the University of Liverpool, and it is an academic partner of IET. I have more than 5+ years of professional experience, and I'm currently a full member of the IET. I would like to understand the process for applying for CN status and who I should speak to for initial guidance before formally submitting an application.
First of all, thank you for being a member of the IET. We're very grateful for that. Um, I'm afraid there is no informal route to application, so you can't speak to someone before applying. You should start your application process online, and at the very least, you should register your details, and upload your CV and ask for a meeting with one of our advisors, and they will be able to advise you on what are the next steps. But it does require you to start that process online. And again, I'm not suggesting you spend a ton of time online. Just input the minimum required information and take it from there. Also, because you're a member of the IET, if you have an account already, log into your account. There will be an option there for you to contact our advisors team, and they will set up a meeting with you, or they will send you the relevant information depending what you need most.
Yeah, thanks, Flory. I have a couple of questions. I'm just wondering, I think most of us are working in university and we are either doing PhD or postdoc. And many of us don't really have any kind of industrial experience. We might have a degree in engineering, maybe we have done a degree in science in general. So what do you count as like professional experience? Do our 4 or 5 years of PhD, would that count as a professional experience, or do we need to additionally need to work in an industry to gain that experience? So can you please explain that to us?
Yes, and my apologies if I wasn't very clear about that. It is not so much about professional experience in the actual sense of the word. It's more about the project you've been involved in. So every level of professional registration comes with some expectations. So as I said, for CEng, we want to see innovation, we want to see leadership, we want to see collaboration. The key word there being you're the driver of innovation. For iEng, let me just check very quickly. So for incorporated engineer, we're not looking at innovation. We're looking at how people have gone about applying innovation. So how was it deployed? How was it used to improve existing processes? How was deployed in production, for example, and so on. And at the engineering technician level, for example, we are less looking at innovation and how those things were deployed. We're more looking at how the systems were maintained. So coming back to your question, it's not so much about professional experience, it's more about the type of projects you have been involved in. And at each step of the way, we're looking for different things. And again, CEng, it's about innovation and creating something. The next level is more about applying it, and the next level is more about maintaining. So if you've done any of those, then any of those would be considered for your application to professionally register.
Yeah. Another question I have is like, I understand that universities, most of the universities are IET's academic partners, and students can easily apply memberships through that. But if we are postdocs, do you think we are also able to utilize that provision? If not, if we want to apply for CEng, do we need to take an IET membership first? Is it mandatory?
Okay,
And
so
also
there are two
how much
questions.
cost involved. Also, how much cost involved in these things.
Okay, that's a very good question. There are two questions there. So first of all, you're absolutely right to point out that um, you are not necessarily a student. Many of you are not necessarily students. There are universities who are IET academic members who say, even if you're a postdoctoral fellow or whatever, you're still affiliated with a university, so we'll still put you through an IET membership program. But there are some who will say, no, you're not a student in the real sense of the word, therefore you're not. It really, really depends on the institution, though, and I think you should check with them. Now, the second part of your question was, how much does it cost? And there was another question. How much does it cost? Well, if the university doesn't pay for it, then it costs £195 per year to become a member of the IET. And to be honest, in the vast majority of cases, I've seen that there is some mechanism where the university reimburses you, if not for the entire amount, then for a part of that amount. And if you're also part-time employed, then it's very likely that your existing employer might also reimburse you for that. But the magic figure is £195 a year, just to be transparent. And the third part of your question, I now realize that it's about whether you need to be a member of the IET before applying. No, you do not. Okay? Just to be clear, you do not. You can apply without being a member of the IET. We do not condition you from becoming a member of the IET. Becoming a member of the IET is mostly for you to access all those resources, and hopefully you'll see the benefit in paying the membership fee to get access to those, but you do not have to be a member of the IET whatsoever, and you can still apply to get registered.
Yeah, thanks, Florian. Thanks for your time and sharing about IET. And also, thank you all for those excellent questions. It's clear that many of you are seriously thinking about professional registration and IET membership. I hope the answers today have helped you and to have more clarifications about your next steps. So before we close, I just want to briefly introduce UK-HyRES to you. If you are, I don't know whether you have heard about UK-HyRES before. Let me share my presentation. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Flori. As I mentioned in the beginning, my name is Sibimor. I'm a research fellow at UCL in techno-economics of hydrogen. I'm also have the privilege to lead the UK-HyRES ECR network this year.
Debbie, I think you need to put Mentos. Oh, you've done it. Okay.
Yeah, I realized that. Yeah, thank you. So UK-HyRES is one of the major energy research hubs in UK now. We are funded by EPSRC, and we are having a total funding of 27.1 million, and having a fantastic partnerships with 40 plus organizations, and really an amazing group of professors and students working in different themes in hydrogen. So mainly we are covering 8 themes, 4 technical and 4 cross-cutting themes, starting from the production of hydrogen to applications, also covering the economic, environment, sustainability, and social safety aspects of hydrogen. Thus, like we are covering the entire hydrogen value chain. And we are having a very active ECR network. So according to UK-HyRES ECR definition, so either a PhD, if you're a PhD student or postdoc, early career academic staff in the initial 3 years of your appointment, you can be considered as an ECR in UK-HyRES. But there are 3 different membership categories. So to become a member of UK-HyRES ECR network, there's mainly like core postdocs and PhD students who are funded by UK-HyRES, and you can get an associate membership if your supervisor is funded through UK-HyRES. But if you are not a member or not an associate member and you're not really associated with UK-HyRES through any kind of funding, but still if you are working in hydrogen and alternative fuels related to hydrogen related areas, still you can be, there is a provision for you to become an affiliated member. So if you go to the Yearly Career Researchers Network page in UK-HyRES website, you'll be able to find a form. And if you are interested in joining UK-HyRES ECR network, you can provide your details there. And we will consider your interest there, and we'll let you know the details later. So we are having like monthly network meetings where we'd have like meetings with professors, they're sharing their career journey. And also we have different like research presentations. Also we'll be discussing about the conferences and other activities that is really fundings and other activities that are really helpful for PhDs and postdocs in hydrogen. So if you are interested to be part of a network and be part of activities that can enhance your skill and find collaboration, as I said before, there is really a big group of people working in all sort of areas in hydrogen. So if you are interested in collaborating with our research, please, you are very welcome to join our network. So there is a very specific Flexi Fund call for ECS that is active now. It is UK-HyRES and Henry Royce Institute Sprint Funding Call. So the maximum award per proposal is 50K at 80% FEC, and the call closes on 23rd February. So if you haven't heard about it and you're interested in applying for this fund call, yeah, please look at our website. All the details are there. The eligibility is like you are the lead applicant. The ECR is the lead applicant. The ECR is either a postdoctoral researcher, application scientist. Even if you are from industry, you have a provision to apply for it. And the ECR, even if the ECR does not have a current role at a university, but if there is some institution ready to support you, you can apply for it. And another condition is the PL should not have previously received any funding in excess of 100K. So if this is something of interest to you, yeah, please feel free to apply for this funding call. Yeah, so this is a new initiative from UK-HyRES ECR network. So we are having a series of webinars from here on. This was our first webinar, and thank you for joining us. And the next webinar is on March, 25th of March. It is about, we are doing it in collaboration with Royal Society of Chemistry. The topic is supporting early career researchers in hydrogen and sustainable energy commercialization. So if you are someone who is interested to know more about how to use your research, how to convert or translate your research into something more a real life solution and to commercialize your research, that would be a great opportunity to hear from Ben from Royal Society of Chemistry. Yeah, thank you again for being part of today's webinar. We look forward to seeing you at future UK-HyRES webinars for ECS. I will post the links in the chat here, how you can register for the next webinar. And we wish you every success in your professional and research careers. Have a great afternoon. Thank you. Yes, Celia. You have a question?